This is actually insane. They have buffed Ultron's ultimate. He now does a ton of damage. If you play around his ultimate, oh my, you can just wreck teams. So you do massive healing, massive damage output with the whole ultimate. But I mean, it's the damage. Forget the healing. We're talking about the damage here. It is bonkers. Remember, this is a strategist hero. So this is crazy. This is the details, right? So the ultimate single shot damage is increased from 6 to 8, and the energy required has been reduced from 4,000 to 3,400. So obviously you get this more often, which is good. And this essentially translates into a 33% increase in damage from the kind of early content you guys would have seen from the content creator server. So he is doing a lot more damage now with his ultimate. In fact, this goes up from 750 to 1,000 damage for the duration of the ultimate, which is actually ridiculous. This is like a ton of damage. This means you are deleting anyone who isn't basically a tank. If you're focus firing them with the ultimate, you're doing a massive amount of damage. Now, the other thing is, what they've done is increase the damage of the ultimate, so you now do more damage than your primary fire, which makes sense. Again, you can see the ultimate being used here. This is just pushing them back, but there's a group there. I can just hit him with tons of damage. He's already low anyway, but the damage output is massive. It is so powerful. And this leads me on to Ultron, because is this a weak hero? What are Ultron's problems? What are his strengths? Now, this gameplay, there are some massive caveats here. The damage is huge. The ultimate damage is huge. The primary fire damage is huge. Remember, this thing, it's a hit scan weapon. It's a hit scan beam that just ticks damage and then does burst damage at the end of the tick, or the end of the channeling, I guess, of the fire. This is really strong, right? You obviously need to be able to track targets with it to get the maximum amount of damage. But again, remember, you're a strategist. But what I'm saying about massive caveats is in this game, you will notice that we have got triple support. I don't think Ultron can function in a dual support setup. His healing is not great, right? So the way his healing works, it's fine in protracted fights. So you can see I've got my healing attached to Magneto. Now, the reason for that is Magneto is a very slow-moving tank. He's going to be in the middle of the fight. I kind of want to keep Magneto alive, right? But this requires on my team actually getting close to Magneto to benefit from the healing that I'm putting out. Now, the burst healing, you just see me use it there, is the alternate fire, which applies shields to all targets around Ultron. It's not really that good. In fact, it's kind of crap. You use it when you see somebody taking a bunch of damage. You want to try and keep them alive. It's not going to keep them alive. I think probably the best way of using this is honestly just to spam it in team fights. Now, this is the other problem with Ultron. You don't have burst heal potential. You do if you've got Iron Man on your team. And we might see a meta forming where if you've got Iron Man, you can maybe roll the duo support, and Ultron then is fine, because with the Iron Man team up every 24 seconds or 25 seconds or so, I mean, again, look at this ultimate, look at the damage of it. It's frigging crazy. I just killed both those guys. I've wiped out their DPS. Well, I've wiped out their Ultron. I wiped out the Hela. That is just crazy. That is like a level of damage output for a support which is insane. Remember, you're flying as well, so you've generally got the best position. You can just rain down death on the enemy team. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you're looking at Ultron and you're looking at him in team comps, if you've got Ultron and Luna Snow, yeah, Luna Snow is going to be doing good damage output and good healing output, and she's been giga buffed as well, so she's probably the strongest support right now, easily. But Ultron, yeah, he's okay if he's got Iron Man. If he's got the Iron Man combo, then you have got that additional damage and you've got that healing on your primary fire. But crucially, it gives you that burst healing, so you can heal people who get caught out of position and need that desperate healing to keep them in the fight. Because you will notice when you play Ultron, you cannot really save people who are getting heavily pressured. Your way of saving them is to do damage to them, to try and kill the aggressor or try and like kill the back line. I think in this gameplay clip, I'm focusing way too much on doing damage to their tanks. If the tank's the only target in front, then sure, go for the tank. But if it isn't, I really shouldn't be focus firing the tank, because all it's doing is padding my damage stats, really. It's not really effective damage. See here, can you see the Venom? He's running away, and I'm like, oh my god, I've got to apply my heal to him. I gave him my heal. I've used my ultimate to try and push them back, and it's doing a ton of damage. They don't really expect it. I don't know why the Punisher's just running towards us with his ultimate there. Bit of an insane play off the Punisher. But again, look, because you can fly, you can back off. And this leads into the movement ability of the hero. It is strong. It is really strong. I think in my earlier videos on Ultron, I actually said he might be sort of similar to Human Torch in terms of movement. I'm actually thinking now that when you pop your movement ability, it's better. You move faster. and I don't know. I think it's a little bit better than Human Torch, but Human Torch is a completely different hero altogether. So I got killed here. That's fine. We're going to lose this point. But hopefully what you're seeing in this is this. Again, Rivals has been doing a lot of this. Look at Mr. Fantastic. They're hybrid. He is a damage and a tank, but he's more of a tank, really, in the damage role. He's a disruptive damage hero, like a brawler damage hero. I don't know. He's got more in common with, like, a Venom and a Thor than he does have with, like, you know, any of the DPS, really. And I think Ultron is a similar thing. So as we move on to this final point here, again, you'll see with Ultron, it's basically all about positioning. It's about prioritizing damage, and it's about just keeping your drones wherever the healing needs to be. Now, when you look at your healing stats at the end of the game, I'll show you at the end of this game. This is, I think this is platinum rank we're in at the moment, or it might be gold, and then we go into platinum. But the thing with it is you're okay when there isn't any kind of focus fire. I think if you're playing against dive comps, if you're playing against any enemy team that can put out high damage and it's single target high damage, forget playing Ultron. You cannot do anything about that. The damage is just going to go straight through the healing you're doing, because the healing you're doing isn't good enough. The main advantage of his drone is it's basically up all of the time. And when a fight just keeps going on and on and on, and there's a lot of AoE splash damage, it's great. You will have massive healing stats at the end of the game, but sort of, I guess, relative to other healers. But the question is always going to be, is it actually good healing? Like, look at this here. What I did there is, yeah, okay, I killed the Hela, but I mean, I just got absolutely destroyed by their Punisher. Punisher obviously is a very good counter to any flying hero, and he's obviously really good against Ultron. I think this is just the issue we've got, right? I think Ultron, if you're prioritizing damage, if you just sort of chuck your drone on the tank and then just leave the tank to do whatever, use your alternate fire if you need a little bit of burst protection. It's not burst healing. It's a woeful amount of shielding you apply. But at least it's to everyone. Now, in terms of yourself, what you can do is heal yourself if you move into your drone range. But of course, that means playing on top of your tank, which might not be the optimal play. Often, what you're going to do is use your alternate fire to give yourself that additional health, that shielding, to keep you alive when you need to be alive. Now, this is interesting. I lose this duel. I remember I lose it because I tried to move into Invisible Woman's ult, which I think she's about to use, and I get completely... I mean, it's telegraphed play, and I get killed by the enemy Ultron. He was better than me. His aim was better. He took me out, so fair play. And this is kind of it. Like, with Ultron, it's almost like do or die. You're going to do a ton of damage, but you're also going to get killed really fast. And you will notice the more you play him, he is really vulnerable in just, like, you shouldn't be flying around in the open, basically, right? You need to be using line of sight, more so than maybe the other flyers, because you're so vulnerable. Very easy to hit him. When you've got your movement ability available, you're a little kind of, well, you're more slipperier. I guess you're a little bit kind of slippery in a sense of you're faster, you can move around. But it's still not that difficult for enemy hit scans to track you. So I think, looking at this hero, the buff to his ultimate makes sense. It means his ultimate is now powerful. His ultimate is frightening, and it will win fights because you can burn down the squishies with it. Not the best against killing tanks. Of course, it still heals your team as well. So if you need, I guess, burst healing, you can go to the ultimate and just use it to keep your team alive. But I think what's interesting is, because they've given it additional damage from the content creator early access build to what we've got now on the live server, you can very much prioritize just killing the enemy with it over, you know what, I'm going to keep this in case I need burst healing. Because one thing with it as well, it's got a wind-up time, and that can be kind of annoying. If you need to immediately heal someone, you don't have that available. So I think right now, my hot take for the hero is this. Good damage potential. You really need to play him in triple support comps, which I'm not sure is going to be the ideal thing, unless you've got Iron Man. If you've got Iron Man on your team, then you might be able to get away with double support with Ultron, because you do have the Iron Man team-up ability, which allows you to do burst healing with your primary fire, which is honestly really strong, although it is on a pretty hefty cooldown of around 25 seconds. But it still is an option where you will be able to bail your tanks out of a bad situation if you need to, because you will have burst healing available. I will say as well, an interesting thing I found quite difficult with Ultron is not shooting my team with primary fire. I really want to shoot them to heal them, because every other support is basically shoot your team to heal them. It isn't with Ultron. It does no healing, it just does damage. Also, Cloak and Dagger is the most frustrating hero ever. Now, if you want a little bit of ban advice in this season, ban Lunar Snow. Ban Lunar Snow. She's really, really good. Ban Lunar Snow, says the man with quite a few well, hours on Lunar Snow. But yeah, ban Lunar Snow. She's also really good against Ultron as well. All right, what we're going to do is jump forward and we're going to take a look at the... Well, we'll just let this finish and then we'll take a look at the healing amounts because they're interesting. It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of healing. I do the most damage by far for the supports, but I think a really good like Lunar Snow would give me a run for my money. Probably even like Loki, but I mean, Loki's an outside shout. Jeff, who knows about Jeff at the moment? Jeff's in a world of like whatever. All right, let's take a look at these stats. So I think it's going to do the promotion thing and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go through this, blah, blah, blah. I do need to get myself back up to Grandmaster. Maybe I can do it with Ultron. But look at this, right? So 18 final hits, 16,500 damage, and 18,000 healing. I mean, that's good healing. It's more than their enemy Ultron, but it's nowhere near as much as... Well, it's near Jeff, actually. But Invisible Woman, look, she wiped the floor with me with healing. But I guess my damage makes up for it, right? I mean, that is quite a lot of damage for a support. I mean, that's actually... It's almost as much as the enemy Hela. But again, take this with a pinch of salt. It's a very small sample size. Let me know what you think about him in the comments below, guys. But I do think this buff has been a good move by the devs because he's not a complete throw pick. He's actually kind of useful when he's got his ultimate. All right, guys, I'm in Starlo, so let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video. See you soon.